right, we're past the official halfway mark, which means that I got to go through these games from week 8 is officially in the books, and I got to say a lot of interesting things happened, and there's a lot of teams now that are official panic mode, and there are some teams that had started out very ice cold, and there's some hope that they're going to try to find a way out of it. First and foremost, King Henry goes down. Unfortunately, what that means, Patrick didn't win because of it. Um, Patrick has officially rebuilt his team after this giant loss. So when I kind of look through what happened in that specific game, it comes down to one thing: Justin Herbert wasn't that good. Derrick Henry, I mean, we know what happened, and you didn't have the flexes to back you up. So I walked away with the victory on that one. Obviously, I wish it would have been a closer matchup, and you hate to see injuries happen, but it's part of the game. This has got to be the upset of the week. The minute I feel like this happens to me every year, the minute I officially, metaphorically speaking, put in all like the poker chips to the table and say, look, I'm in on this Allen team. It's the best team. I like lose the next hand. This is what happened here. I talked the kid up. I didn't even go into a matchup breakdown. That's how confident I was. And his team doesn't break over 100 points. He loses to Coffey, who has win number 2, and what we're going to see is that number 6 seed looks like it's up for grabs now, and I'll explain a little bit more. So Allen's got 3 wins, I believe. Coffey's got 2, and for Coffey to kind of think about where he's at, you know, I wrote him off for good. I think if he loses again, maybe, but the number 6 seed is definitely up for grabs. So that was an interesting thing. Speaking of which, this was another close comfort match. I think this was another team that was on panic mode. I think Harsh really needed this victory. And this is the second week in a row where B Magic's team did not meet expectations at all. Last week I gave him a pass because he had a bye week, but another one. I don't know if I'm pushing the panic button, but you did lose James Robinson, or maybe we don't know. But you got Nick Chubb back, so it's like one goes out, one comes in. I think Leonard Fournette, he's hard to trust, but I think it was more so the Saints matchup. You sneak away with a victory there. And again, I think this Harsh team reminds me a lot of my team from last year. There are absolutely no running backs that are picking up the slack for this team. I think Damian Williams really getting COVID really opened the door for Khalil Herbert, so that backup plan was scratched. Gibson has been a bust, and it really does stink because Deebo Samuel actually, as long as he's healthy, is looking pretty solid. Kenneth Gainwell did not get any reps. So that backfired on your move. Laviska Chenault's a bust. You can just drop him. Seems like Urban Meyer doesn't like the guy, or maybe he's just not good. I don't know. People are now already calling him the next Cordell Patterson. Don't know if I see that yet, but the way I look at it, though, man, AJ Brown is now probably going to be an absolute stud. He's healthy. No Derrick Henry. His target share's got to go skyrocket. It's going to rocket up there. So, and Kyler Murray, when he is not 100%, this team is not reliable at all. So I think if there's the Harsh team, there are some interesting receiving prospects on this team. Not a lot of running backs, and the quarterback is in trouble, and you got 2 wins. So I think this team, if I'm writing off a team, definitely. Fortunately, the champ from last year, unless he can ship off something for a running back, which is hard to do, that would be my best guess. Trolls in the Dungeon, David, takes down the number 1 seed in Paul. When Mahomes hit Tyreek Hill, I did think we were going to have a game, but luckily Daniel Jones got a touchdown, and then Patrick Mahomes wasn't the same, so Paul couldn't keep up in that. It wasn't even a shootout. This is the lowest point total I think that David's had, or I'm not even sure to be honest, but it's been a while since it's been at 113. This was another close game when I looked at it, and here's the reason. So Johnny loses to David Krier. This is a team that might start heating up. We need to really seriously take this into consideration that I don't want to say Cinderella story because I might say dark horse, and the only reason why I'm saying it is because with Patrick without Derrick Henry, it seems as if he's going to fall down the power rankings. And the number 6 seed as of right now is between the Cousins, Andre, and Allen. And then the door's going to open up for somebody else to take that spot. I mean, we got 6 games left, guys. So he got win number 2. He needed this victory to stay alive because I think this would be the matchup when we go back that was a must win for him to keep his season alive. And we don't know about Christian McCaffrey yet. If he comes back, uh, all the more reason to kind of believe in a comeback story for this kid. And last but certainly not least, um, Andre dealing with a lot of injuries right now. And Alex was able to get the victory. Now I have to check because I've lost. I don't know if Alex has 4 wins. He's got 3. Whoa. Okay, so point total isn't really where it needs to be, but you're getting not Saquon Barkley back this week. Maybe after the bye, though. I think that's what they're looking at. But Devontae Adams comes back. The Raven stack is back in full effect. Your looks like your running backs though are struggling, but if a stack hits, a stack hits, and the Raven stack surprisingly has been hitting. Well, since I've said what I've kind of wanted to say on this match or the recap, it's going to be interesting because my final thoughts from this, I think the previous podcast before, I think the number 6 seed was going to be between um, Patrick and Allen because Andre's had a lot of injuries and now Calvin Ridley is stepping away from football a little bit. Andre just can't catch a break. And I think those were the 2 teams. Now I've kind of reevaluated everything. Patrick without Derrick Henry, I said it before. He was doing great when Herbert and Henry were going off. Herbert's cooled down significantly, and now you don't have Derrick Henry. I'd be shocked if he made it in the playoffs. I know he did some depth moves, but I don't think those are explosion week moves. I think they're more so of a okay, I need somebody here right now to like help me out kind of thing. So I think it's still. I think Allen is definitely in consideration. I think he has one of the best teams in the actual league. It's just a matter of if he's gonna mess around and not win any games like he let Rob Coffey off the hook, I guess. But I also think it's gonna be David Krier now. If those are the 2 teams, I think that are gonna be fighting for that number 6 spot. And if they get in, they are going to be your classic team that's going to get on a hot run, and they're probably going to be knocking people out because there are a lot of good pieces on this team. Now, the David Krier situation, Darren Waller and McCaffrey have been busts. One's because of injury, the other hasn't lived up to expectations. But picking up Michael Pittman for $10 in week number 1 was a steal. Michael Carter with Mike White, I'm gonna preface this right now. With Mike White is looking good. I don't know what the situation is gonna be like with Zach Wilson. Darrell Williams in the passing game is lethal. We got to see if Derek Gore really is a thing, or was that just a 1 week wonder type of a deal. Robert Woods in a Rams offense, you'll play him every week. That's fine, but I mean he's a low end wide receiver too. In a way, it's like he's doing what he did last year. It's just he's not getting a lot of target, or he's not being very successful for what he's getting. I don't know if that was clear, but there are some interesting pieces here that if a Christian McCaffrey was 100% healthy and he comes back and he stays healthy, this is a very dangerous team because right after the draft, this was a team I really liked. I liked the setup a lot. It was just a matter of okay, can these flexes hit? And well, what do you know? All right. Well, with that being said, is what I was kind of reiterating to. Let's get into the next week. Week number 9. Excuse me. Rivalry. Okay, so interesting that I'm going to start off with these 2 teams. 2 teams that are 2-6 and kept their season alive somehow last week. I think one team didn't surprise me that they won. Another team, if you bet, this was honestly like the Bengals and Jets matchup in fantasy. I don't know how Coffey found a way to beat Allen's team, just didn't show up, and this is happening. That team shouldn't be like that. I don't understand why it's not happening. It's just really really frustrating to see such a good team just not produce. Well, okay, I'm gonna have to go off of what I have given. Right now, I'm recording this at 8:06 p.m. on a Wednesday night. So first and foremost, Aaron Rodgers gets COVID. Derek Carr is picked up. I think that's the only option really you could have gone with. I don't know if Derek Carr is going to have a big game against the Giants, but it might literally be like an 18 to 20 point performance. Oh God, yeah. Well, it's either Taysom Hill or Teddy Bridgewater. Taysom Hill looks like he's a very good streamer if he's 100% healthy. That's the biggest issue. I'm going to go, if he plays, I'm going to go Taysom Hill because it's an easier matchup and he's got rushing ability. Derek Carr seems, I don't want to use the word trappy because I think he'll be okay. He's just not going to explode. Robert Woods, Michael Pittman Jr., or Jerry Jeudy and Jacoby Myers. Okay, so I'm glad that I don't have Jacoby Myers on my team because this guy's just useless for fantasy. I honestly thought this guy was going to be your definition of 8 to 10 every single week, and if he got a touchdown, you have 17. I honestly thought he would be like what Juju Smith-Schuster was supposed to be, and he's just not good for fantasy. I mean, every week people want to say start Jacoby Myers, and in reality, this guy's not good for fantasy. Uh, Honestly, like if you're not in a desperate need, this guy shouldn't even be rostered. I think he should be sitting on the wire. He doesn't have any career touchdowns either, which is upsetting. It seems like he only catches 2-point conversions. Um, Judy, was eased into the lineup. I think that Noah Fant's going to be out, which is great because I think Judy is by far the best receiver. As long as Teddy keeps the job, I really like Judy's outlook. Now, on the flip side, Robert Woods and Michael Pittman Jr. are the answer that I'm going to go with. Pittman had a great game last week, scoring 2 touchdowns, and this is a revenge game against Rob Coffey after he was cut. I think that's the only bad management move that Rob had. I think everything else was just injuries, and then these picks just didn't work out. Robert Woods against the Tennessee Titans. This game could have some shootout appeal. The only thing I worry about, though, is that the Rams might, trounce on him later on because there's no Derrick Henry. So, yeah. If I have to pick a side, it's got to be Woods and Pittman. Without a doubt, I got to go on that side of things. So Woods and Pittman. Henderson and Darrell Williams versus Elijah Mitchell and Austin Eckler. So, God, this is my biggest regret was not picking up week 1 Elijah Mitchell. I had Michael Hasty because I panicked. I said, you know what? That means that Hasty is going to be the backup to Raheem Mostert. And then out of nowhere, this guy Elijah Mitchell comes out of nowhere, and no fantasy analyst ever saw this coming. A 6th-round pick. Then again, it's Kyle Shanahan. Shouldn't surprise us. But Elijah Mitchell is the lead dog when he's got the ball and more when he's healthy. The only role he doesn't have is a 3rd-down role. But if the San Francisco 49ers are going to get up in a lead and they're in neutral game script situations, I think Mitchell is an RB. I hate to say it, he's an RB1. But if the game situation is reversed and they trail from behind, I think he might get his role scripted out, and that might be Michael Hasty on 3rd downs. Trey Sermon looked absolutely great in the preseason. I don't know why this was a thing. Hindsight is saying that Mitchell just was never healthy in the preseason, and they liked him in the practice, and he was the secret they were keeping all along. So screw that guy, Kyle Shanahan. Austin Eckler against Philly is easy money. I think honestly, if Mitchell is healthy, I'm gonna go the Rob Coffey side for the running backs. These are the only 2 dangerous pieces he has on his team. Judy can be, but I'm not ready to give him that seal of approval yet. Henderson's just fine, and Darrell Williams will be okay in the passing game. But if Derek Gore becomes a thing, this guy is back to what he was, Darrell Williams, lead guy / pass catching back. And I'm not excited about that. Dallas Goedert is getting a lot of targets, and tight end sucks. So when you're getting a lot of targets for a tight end, congratulations, you are officially startable in fantasy football. I don't even know what Rob's going to do with George Kittle. I don't care about his flexes. T. Higgins has been getting a lot of targets the last few weeks, led Cincinnati in receiving yards. I think if Cincinnati wants to, make the playoffs and be competitive, they need to involve him a lot more. T. Higgins, honestly, David, I don't blame you for taking T. Higgins over Jamar Chase because I had him ranked significantly higher. Because after what Higgins did last year, dude, he was absolutely amazing, man. He was a low end. Honestly, you could have said wide receiver 1 numbers because I almost made the playoffs with this guy trying to, make a comeback. And Christian Kirk, AJ Green getting ruled out might help his outlook. I don't trust Kyler Murray being banged up though. I went through this situation last year, so I'm giving you. Okay, San Francisco, New England. I know I'm going on a tangent. I love the Niners defense call. New England defense is okay. It doesn't matter who Rob puts in. He's dealing with some bye week blues right now, so the man is hurting. Give the man some slack. You know what I'm saying? But my man, I got to go with David Krier on this one. I know you're pissed off because you say every time I'm on it. Oh, and you might get McCaffrey back, which is even a bigger bonus. I know, but I gotta call it like it is. Like I can't with other than Judy, Mitchell, and Eckler, I don't like anything from the Rob side of things at all. Honestly, your worst player is Christian Kirk, which means that Derek Carr, on the one hand, he's not that bad. But um, Derek Carr, I think, is going to match up with whatever Bridgewater does. And I honestly, and I know it was a long shot for Rob to win last week, but he also had Chris Godwin. He doesn't have Chris Godwin in this game. So even if Judy has a great game, Mitchell has a great game, Eckler's got a great game. I mean, the Crier team's been consistent with some points. And if you get McCaffrey back, I think it's a wrap. So Crier, I'll take. Well, it's about time because this is overdue. It's the Cousin Bowl, the annual Cousin Bowl in the same division. What do you know? I don't know why it always happens, but clearly one cousin's stock is trending up while the other is plummeting down. But the one who's trending up needs to stop fooling around. Let me get to Andre. I'll talk with you in a minute. Alan, okay? I don't know what it is, but every time, like I said, if I don't know if you listen to the recap segment, but every time I'm starstruck out of all these superstars that are finally panning out for you because September ends and now you have handcuffed running backs. Your management was off the charts, dude. I liked every single thing that you did. The Khalil Herbert thing was very, very sneaky. I'm really pissed I didn't get him because I overspent on the other two idiots. Um, but Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, all these picks have worked out for you, but you need to put up freaking W's, dude. Um, Luckily for you, you've got a cousin, Andre, whose team is hurting. There's injuries, and then there's also mental health issues that are going on with the Andre team. So we do feel for the guy. I feel like every freaking week, and it's weird because like I didn't hate on Andre's team this year. I thought it was kind of underrated, and I really thought that a healthy Montgomery and Zeke together were, a match made in heaven. I don't know if that sounds. I don't know, man. Anyway, what I was trying to say was, Tallahassee pain versus it really, really hurts. Um, both these cousins fighting to keep their season alive. One has to do it with whatever scrap pieces they can find, while the other one, all systems are go. I think the only guy who has not been on the okay starter plan, breakout plan yet is Javonte Williams. That's the only guy he has. Everything else, these guys are ready to rumble. Stafford versus Jalen Hurts, give me Matt Stafford. Deontay Johnson, you like the targets. Nelson Aguilar, you're flipping a coin for a touchdown there, or the LSU boys. LSU boys, I know they did not live up to expectations last week like they should have, but they're going to come right back in here and they're going to beast. Very good pickup by Andre is Boston Scott. I know everybody was hyped up over Game All, and Andre spent a really good amount of Boston's. Honestly, Andre, the bids that you've done this year, I've liked. Dawson Knox just got hurt. Boston Scott and Ezekiel Elliott versus Khalil Herbert and Dalvin Cook. So the Chargers have been abysmal against the run. New England ran all over down their throats. Boston Scott's a sleeper this week. Ezekiel Elliott, I love him. I think he's going to be a top 3 running back this week. On the flip side, Khalil Herbert and Dalvin Cook, I like the talents better than the other two. I don't like their matchups. And as foolish as this sounds, I'm not big on Dalvin Cook. Alan, we've talked about this. Khalil Herbert, on the other hand, I think volume alone, I know Pittsburgh's rush defense is good, but Justin Fields is awful. He's going to take any check down that he can. And Chicago literally needs to just build around Khalil. No, I'm sorry. You don't build around a running back in this day and age, but he should be their starter moving forward. I don't care about David Montgomery. David Montgomery lost his job. Sorry to say it, but that's the damn truth. The thing that sucks, though, is that Chicago is somewhat still in the playoff race. So I don't know how if I don't know how Matt Nagy looks at it. It's like, oh well, David Montgomery is very replaceable. Let's be honest. He was just a volume back. Give me after all that spiel, I love Ezekiel Elliott a lot this week, and I think Boston Scott is a very good lead runner for the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, I'm shocked nobody has Jordan Howard. Anyway, Mr. Jones' side, I'm gonna take Dan Arnold or Kyle Pitts. Dan Arnold, I just dropped him, so you got lucky with. I don't know what I'm doing. I just for whatever reason I like Gabe Davis, but Kyle Pitts against New Orleans. No Calvin Ridley. This is a very tough matchup because Pitts, the only game he did great without Calvin Ridley was against the New York Jets, Jumbo Jets, if you will. But I still think, my friend, that Kyle Pitts is going to be fine. McCole Hardman and Rondell Moore. Okay, so Rondell Moore, no AJ Green, maybe. Cortland Sutton or eight. Oh, look at you with this sneaky play. You finally listened to this. So who? Oh, it's because you got guys on a bye. Yeah. Javonte Williams, we want it to happen, but Allen, man, you can't start this guy, dude. Like, Melvin Gordon is actually still significantly pretty. He's good. He's not amazing, but anyway, what was I talking about? McCole Hardman against the Green Bay Packers. Well, Patrick Mahomes has to learn that he can't rely on two people, so maybe Hardman's going to get some, but you know how I feel about McCole Hardman. Rondell Moore, if there are three guys I want in Arizona because Kyler Murray looks like poo-poo right now, and that is James Conner. I'll say Chase Edmonds to a point, but I like Rondell Moore. Any of the guys who can go very short, and that's Rondell Moore. I think Moore has a very sneaky game here. Back to the other side, Cortland Sutton against Dallas or A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon's going to be very sneaky. With Jordan Love, this might be a really boring run-first offense. You're able to do it against Kansas City because although the Chiefs have looked pretty sluggish, they've looked very, very kind of pedestrian. If I'm Matt LaFleur and you don't have Aaron Rodgers, instead of getting a shootout with Pat Mahomes, kill clock, I think this could be I think Aaron Jones will be fine, but I really think I'm going to take the over on A.J. Dillon. I'm going to book a touchdown. I thought he was going to score last week. It's happening this week. And for that alone, it then comes down to Hardman or Sutton, and I think they cancel each other out. I'm actually going to go draw on here. I don't have a strong lean. Pitt D or Cleveland. Ooh, going with Cleveland D. Very sneaky. Going to get Joe Burrow some sacks. And Pitt's big D. Very good claim. I don't know if you bet on them, but against Chicago, that could be the difference. So the way I see it, ladies and gents, this Allen team is dangerous. The only guy they're missing here is DeAndre Swift. Okay? Stafford and the LSU boys, if they're going to get their stuff rolling. Bottom line, though, man, it comes down to Kyle Pitts is now the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver one. I think he's going to be the wide receiver one for the future. They're going to treat him like that. A.J. Dillon is going to be the sleeper of this team. I do think the sleeper of the Andre team is going to be Rondell Moore and Boston Scott. The only way Andre wins is like I talked about. Boston Scott and Rondell Moore, their roles are going to increase in very favorable matchups. So when I look at it like that, if they can provide a spark, I actually don't think this is going to be a blowout. I know. Oh, and speak of the devil. Let's get this straight, okay? David Sutton and Allen last week were projected for 140. This is why Allen doesn't like Yahoo projections. I figured it out. You get cursed. There's no need without a kicker for any team to get up to 140. If that was the case, it's either everybody in your league is really stupid at the draft or you ripped off somebody in a trade. So they have it close, and honestly, it's going to be a close one. They have it 111 and 119. And I think both quarterbacks are going to be favorable. Deontay's going to get his targets. Nelson Aguilar, I mean, no, that's not going to happen. But I think Allen pulls out the victory because I think that the LSU boys are in very favorable matchups. I'm going to bet on Jamar Chase any given week, man. I mean, the guy's just such a stud. And Justin Jefferson, after a dud performance, I think he comes through in a game where they're going to be trailing from behind. I think Dalvin Cook is the one to suffer out of the Vikings stack. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go with Allen to bounce back. Allen, no more fooling around, kid. Okay, if you're trying to make the playoffs and you're trying to prove that, these picks worked out, let me see something. All right, so both these teams are coming off of some bad news the previous week, and actually, the bad news was hit Monday, either at night or in morning. So Johnny lost a trap game, which I did say was a very big trap game last week to David Krier, and that was a victory he felt like he really, really needed. Luckily for Mr. Jonathan, I do think that with the other team that you're facing, which I'll get to in a minute, I do think that the odds are in your favor to kind of run away with this division. Oh, no. Take that back. I forgot B Magic is in your division. My apologies. We're going to have to edit that last piece out. Okay? It's gone. You forgot about it. Cool. I think it's a two-way race, though. I thought it could have been a three-way race, and I was about to say, man, Johnny somehow is in the best division. But Patrick getting hit with the Derrick Henry news, and he was forced to kind of rebuild. I think he panicked a little bit there, but look, I'm not going to judge. I understand you lose your best player. Whatever you have, you're going to have to get some depth because you're in win-now mode. You're not in any position to kind of wait it out. So Patrick, I thought, previous week, honestly, there were two games that I had this year where I looked at the matchups when we were going head to head, and it was the Krier one I was uncomfortable with, and it was the Patrick one because I felt like Derrick Henry is he's such a monster. You hate going against Derrick Henry. And unfortunately, he just got hurt. With all of that just being said, I know I just kind of went on a little bit of a rant, so thank you for dealing with that. You're now getting hit with the injury bug everywhere, man. I'm looking, there's Q tags everywhere I look. Sorry, man. I apologize. We'll start with the quarterbacks. Ryan Tannehill and Justin Herbert. So for the longest time, I thought to myself, why in God's name does Johnny still have Ryan Tannehill when you got Tom Brady? I highly doubt you held him for 8 weeks for just this 1 week. If you did, God bless you. But you're not getting anything for Ryan Tannehill. Stubborn Coffey, who needs a quarterback, dude, it's not happening. I even offered Joe Burrow, and he ain't even taking that. So you might as well just cut Ryan Tannehill. I don't see anybody who wants to trade for a quarterback. Unless somebody gets hurt, maybe that's what you're banking on of, and honestly, it's not a bad situation. Anyway, Ryan Tannehill and Justin Herbert. Herbert hasn't been that good the last few weeks. A little bit concerning. And now he's on the injury report with a hand injury. After the Browns explosion, Herbert's been kind of pedestrian. And he honestly has had. So if you look at Herbert's games, he's had 3 games where he exploded, and then he's had meh games. Like, I don't think I can't remember a more of a boom bust quarterback than like this. Like a guy who puts up 16 1 week but could go off for 40 plus. It's weird. I don't think I've ever had that. It's usually guys that are always having a floor of 20 and then they can have a potential to go off. So it's weird. He's more of a boom bust guy. Cole Beasley. Oh, by the way, if I have to pick one, Philly's kind of garbage, but this injury and Tannehill's gonna have to throw. What did Tannehill do last week for you, kid? Okay, so Ryan Tannehill hasn't been that great either. I mean, he's had 2 27-point performances, but everything else is within like 20 points. Actually, it's funny. His 27-point performances came against Indianapolis. I'll go Herbert. Tannehill traveling without Derrick Henry, I think there's going to be some growing pains. Cole Beasley, what a beast. Devontae Parker, DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks. So, Devontae Parker, I spent $30-something on the guy. Doesn't play for me for 3 weeks. And I don't want to deal with this guy's injury in his hamstring. So, I cut him. Johnny winds up with him. In reality, it's like I traded Devontae Parker for New Orleans D, and that trade might work out for both of us. DeAndre Hopkins and Brandon Cooks. Okay. I will say this. Brandon Cooks just keeps getting traded, and I get it because he plays for the Texans. But if Tyrod Taylor comes back, Brandon Cooks might be the new Dwayne Bowe. He's going to be a garbage time all-star, man. DeAndre Hopkins, Patrick, I've said this time and time again. The man is not 100%. Kyler Murray is not 100%. I do not want anything to do with DeAndre Hopkins. In fact, I don't know if you talk with David Sutton. I would have kept Keenan Allen more than I would have DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know if that was discussed at all, but not big on Hopkins. But am I going to... Parker looked spry with Tua. It's literally... The thing with Miami is I don't know how much they're going to rely on Tua throwing. If Tyrod Taylor plays, mark my words, that game's going to be a shootout. So I'm going to base this off of point projections based on Tyrod Taylor. If Tyrod Taylor plays, I think Parker and Cooks smash their projections. Parker at 12 points, man, is a little high. And I'm saying this as a Jalen Waddle owner. He's at 13. That should not be that high. They should both be at like 10, 11. But 12, 12, you're pretty much saying without a touchdown, this guy is going to get that. Beasley will score. D Hop and B Cooks. You know what? He's going to hate me for doing this. I love the matchups on the Johnny side. I'm going to go Beasley and Parker. I think Cooks is good, but I'm worried about DeAndre Hopkins. Najee Harris, Damian Harris. I think you literally just did that move to get Harris combination or some stupid thing like that. Joshua Jacobs and Myles Gaskin. Harris and Harris are going to be absolutely brilliant this week. I think that they might combine for over 40 points. Johnny, I want to apologize to you right now for two people that you picked that I was wrong about. You always tell me I was wrong about people. The only thing I was right, about was Leo Jones. I'll take credit for that, but I want to apologize. So here you are right now. Damian Harris was a great trade. I apologize. I did not think that he would sustain all the carries in neutral game scripts in games where I expected the New England to be not competitive. He has lived up to expectations, and you were right about Damian Harris. I was wrong. Same thing. Our next thing, excuse me. I was absolutely wrong about Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a great pick. Much better than the idiot I took at round 3. So you're welcome. Enjoy the compliment. Okay. Josh Jacobs and Myles Gaskin. Josh Jacobs against the Giants looks like he's going to be used a lot. Myles Gaskin, I forgot who else you got in the deal with Beckham. Ugh. You lost that deal just because of Beckham. Chase Edmonds and Myles Gaskin are kind of the same. Other than that outlier 26-point performance against Myles, he had a receiving touchdown. Gaskin and the box score looks like he's getting more involved, but I also think that it's Salvon Ahmed's role is increasing, and I honestly wouldn't be shocked if Ahmed became the goal line back here. I think Ahmed is a better north-south runner. Gaskin is better east-west type of runner. I think we're gonna see the gap start to not close, but it's getting close. I think right now it's a 60-40 split as far as carries. I don't think they use Ahmed that much in the passing game. But it is the Houston Texans. So you have that going for you in this matchup. Uh, so congrats. Congratulations on that, my friend. But I'm not going over the Harris boys, although Jacobs and Gaskin can be serviceable. Okay, Travis Kelce, what's going on here, fam? Or Tyler Conklin. Look, Kelsey's been abysmal the last 2 games, but Johnny, I'm not picking against him. Julio Jones, Jeremy McNichols, love it. Odell, who might not even play, or Hunter Renfro. Julio Jones, no. Jeremy McNichols might, if he's gonna get it done, he's got to be like James White on steroids. And honestly, this team is not gonna have a good running game. It might work out. Hunter Renfro, I want to talk about really quickly. Sad situation with the Henry Ruggs news, just absolutely terrible. Especially like when you have your whole career in front of you to make millions of dollars and you to go ahead and do something stupid. It's a damn shame because he took somebody else's life and now he's going to serve jail time for it. But that, unfortunately, I hate to transition into fantasy. The doors are now open for Waller. They're also open for a guy named Hunter Renfro. Because Henry Ruggs is no longer on this team, I think we go back to seeing the really bad version of Derek Carr. Henry Ruggs opened up so much crap for this team. They don't have a speedster on the outside anymore. Bryan Edwards is more of a possession guy. He profiles more as a Dez Bryant. He doesn't burn you at all, but he could definitely make some contested catches. Oakland, as soon as that happened, man, Beckham would have been a great fit there. They don't have a speedster, man, and I think you're going to see Derek Carr panic. You're going to see him panic. I hate to tell you so. But you're going to see the man panic. That's just the way it is, man. I don't know. Okay. Where am I at? McNichols, hey there, baby. No, I'm just kidding. I think Renfro has a huge game. I think Renfro is going to be very good for fantasy football now. I think not a sexy guy you want to start, but I think he has a great floor ahead of him. Jeremy McNichols is predicted at 10 points. He might get 10 points. I can't see a touchdown though. Indy defense against the Jets. Of course, we love picking on the Jets, or Buffalo against Jacksonville. Oh, this is. You're really starting Indy's defense against Mike White, Johnny? What's wrong with you? Give me Buffalo against Jacksonville. Okay. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I called you Patrick Mahomes. Congratulations, my friend. You put up a hell of a fight against Johnny, but it was not enough. I think Johnny's biggest thing that he's got going for him right now. Oh, and Lockett's on a bye too, and you're projected 126. Look at you, Jay. The biggest thing Johnny's got going for him right now is that Harris combination, and I think their floor is so much higher than yours. Patrick, as you're listening to this, I'm going to send you a trade offer. Gonna go Johnny. I forgot to mention this man's name. I had said on my week 8 recap, I said the number 6 seed is officially up for grabs. And I think it was between two teams, and there's a third team I forgot, and that's Alex. I do apologize for not putting you in there. But with the Derrick Henry injury and Allen not beating on Rob Coffey like he should have last week, you're at 3 wins. Allen's at 3 wins. Andre's at 3 wins. And David Crier's at 2. But if he gets everybody healthy, look out because that's a dangerous team. So this is a rivalry matchup. It is important. This is a very high total that we have projected here. It's 131 to 125. And I think that this game's got a lot of shootout potential. B Magic has not broken over 100 points the last 2 weeks. One was due to a bye and just a dub performance last week. I don't know what happened there. Alex gets away with the victory without the Ravens guys, I believe, because Andre's team is just hurting right now. So very, very fortunate that you got the dub there. Here we go. Joshua Allen or Lamar Jackson. They're both great spots. Josh Allen is going to absolutely destroy. I repeat, Josh Allen is going to destroy the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he's just going to go bonkers. I play a lot of DFS. I'm definitely going to have a majority of Josh Allen in my lineups. I don't care if I have to pay the 8,200 or whatever he is this week. I love Josh Allen. I think this might be the game where Josh Allen throws 5 touchdown passes to 5 different receivers. It's going to be crazy. If you have a Buffalo Bill, you want a piece of them in this game. Straight up. Lamar's just fine, though. But if you ask me which quarterback has a 30 to 40 point performance, I'm going to go to the Josh Allen side. Stephon Diggs or Amari Cooper and Adam Thielen and Devontae Adams. Okay, so since you've acquired Adam Thielen, he's been very good for you. He has not looked sluggish. Okay, I repeat. I disagree with that. He actually looks really, really slow. Sorry to say it, but he's still scoring touchdowns. The Carolina game, no reason for him to go that off in a game like that. And he scored last week on 9 targets. And you know what? They're going to be playing from behind, so maybe he's not as washed as I thought he was. But bottom line is, he just looks very, very slow if you watch any Vikings highlights. Devontae Adams with Jordan Love. I don't know if we'll get 20-point ceiling Devontae Adams, but I think he'll be. I mean, it's the Chiefs. This team is just bad in general this year. Stephon Diggs and Amari Cooper. So Cooper went off, got you the W against Harsh. Stephon Diggs against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Diggs kind of has been him and DeAndre Hopkins have been really, really disappointing for what you were expecting out of him. He's just not delivering, and his target share hasn't been that high either, other than the Tennessee game, which was a game they lost. But it's Jacksonville Jaguars. I think any of us can score against that defense. It comes down to better talent because they're honestly, look at everything I have here. Cooper's matchup, because he might get Pat Surtain. That's a dangerous matchup if he gets lined up with him. I know CeeDee Lamb usually looks like the guy who's lined up everywhere, but I'll still take the B Magic side. Nicholas Chubb, James Robinson if he plays. Sony Michel and Zach Moss. This is easy. I'm going to go Chubb and Robinson. I don't know what he's going to do if Robinson's out. I'm assuming Melvin Gordon gets the call. So Dalton Schultz or Mark Andrews. Finally, B Magic, you're going to lose this one. It's Mark Andrews. Dalton Schultz finally had a bad game because the receivers finally did get, and the running game wasn't picking up, I guess. I don't know. But I'll go Mark Andrews, Jarvis Landry, Manuel Sanders, Elijah Moore, Marquise Brown. This is a shocker. I'm going to go the Alex side on this one. Elijah Moore is good if Mike White's in, and that's because they were on the second team in the offense, or backups. They have somewhat of a chemistry. And Mike White is actually, I don't know if he's legit, but, whatever. Dude, he spread the ball out to everybody. Running backs, not tight ends, though, although one caught. Receivers, you name it. Marquise Brown, probably the biggest surprise out of anybody in fantasy football after what we saw last year. And I'm still buying the narrative that Lamar's not a great quarterback because he can't throw outside the hash marks. But man, oh man, Marquise Brown looks like a different animal this year. And I got to say, like, this guy's getting slept on every single week. I don't know why he's only set at 11-point projection. Like, this guy should be in the 13 to 15-point range. He's that good. I got to go the Alex side definitely on that one. Dallas and Baltimore defenses, respectively. So, Dallas defense is a lot more respectable than it was last year. And I expect them to really trounce. They're going to be in favorable spots, too, because without Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, I don't know if he's hurt. Who knows? Hasn't been that great. Baltimore against Minnesota. I like John Harbaugh off a bye. I think that's a guy that you can kind of count on, to do what needs to be done, I guess. So I've went over a lot, and I've had a lot to talk about. The James Robinson injury is going to stink. I don't know if he's going to get ruled out. Who knows? Alex's team, the only disadvantage I see here is the running backs. Zach Moss could definitely find his way into the end zone against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, if I'm reading this correctly, they've got Zach Moss for 12 points. I can't remember Zach Moss being a double digit. No, actually, he was double digits last week, too. So I think it's kind of clear now they really want Zach Moss to be the lead back in Buffalo, but we might just be, if that's the case, we might just be viewing Zach Moss as like a Darrell Williams type. Like this is a team that doesn't feel comfortable running their running backs in the end zone. It's Zach Moss to me. If he gets the work, he falls into the Mike Davis tier. Like he's inefficient but gets targets. Falls into the Chase Edmonds tier because he's only getting like 8 to 10 points. They have him projected for 3 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown. I think it's a little too high for my liking. I think he's like a 10-point play. This is a Josh Allen first offense. The only way if he's gonna get it done, he's gonna have to break one. And I think that he's more of a power back. I think Singletary's the guy who can break one. So, and Sony Michel, obviously, because you got nobody else. If James Robinson's ruled out, though, this game becomes very intriguing to me. I can see why this is a close matchup because I'm having trouble picking on the spot right now. So B Magic 131 and Alex 125. So if I'm going on the Alex side of things, I think I can't say Marquise Brown is a sleeper, but I think he's going to absolutely smash that projection. I don't see how he doesn't. And I think Devontae Adams will be fine. I don't see anything that really jumps out to me on the B Magic side other than Josh Allen alone is probably going to have a great game. Sanders will not get a 0 points. I was looking into information what happened with him, and it just seems like the catches that he had were all called back for holding penalties, which kind of stinks. This is a tough call, but the Buffalo Bills stack. The only way I think this is the weirdest thing because I'm putting all the chips on the Buffalo against Jacksonville. Only way Josh Allen does not get there for B Magic is if he throws touchdowns to Tommy Sweeney and Cole Beasley and Gabe Davis. Possible, yeah. But is that like a likelihood that that's going to happen? Probably not. And with that being said, I will take Stephon Diggs 1 touchdown. I'll take Emmanuel Sanders another touchdown. And when you have that correlation going with that quarterback, it gives you such an advantage. Flip side, though, is you both have quarterback in 2 pass catcher stacks. And I think Lamar is in a favorable matchup just like Josh Allen. So take it for what it's worth, but I'm going to go be Magic. This match is like the 5th one that I've done. It's not going to go in there in the order. Sorry about that. Okie dokie. What do we have here? Tyler the Air Dragon versus Trolls in the Dungeon. Things have not worked out for Vintage Harsh. Harsh, man, I'm sorry, buddy. As much as I would love for you to, right after the Super Bowl, go up to the podium like you did and say Antonio Gibson, and Antonio Gibson just literally makes all of us look like idiots. It didn't happen. I'm sorry, buddy, but you cannot go far in this league without a running back. You lost Gus Edwards as well. Damian Williams handcuff looked like it was going to pan out, but then people realized how good Khalil Hailbayat was. And then it's a shame too, because if you look at the receivers on this team, they are all trending in the right direction. Every single one of them trending in the right direction. Catch my drift? Anyway, Kyler Murray, Declan Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Kadarius Toney. Okay, I'm going too far. If Dak plays, give me Dak over Kyler. I don't want anything to do with Kyler Murray. No sirree. I've seen this happen before. He's no longer projected in the high 20s. It's going down, 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 down. He still has a season rank of 5. I don't know how. Last week was a little fluky because Green Bay controlled the clock, but look, they're playing the Niners now. So yeah, it's not good. Dak Prescott, give me Dak. CeeDee Lamb and Kadarius Toney. So if Kadarius Toney plays, I don't know what's up with him in his hand though, right? So it's a thumb. Ugh. Well, no Sterling Shepard means Kadarius Toney is very much in play this week, guys. Kadarius Toney, everybody's in love with this guy. I mean, why wouldn't you be? Yeah, I mean, he looked like a baller when he's healthy. CeeDee Lamb, okay, Harsh. I think ever since I've said that this guy, actually no, it's kind of it. CeeDee Lamb, I don't know how we categorize this guy anymore because he's had 2 bad games and everything else is decent. He might be boomer bust one, but like then you got a floor of like 17, 14. I don't know. He's like a low end. I don't even know what to call it. Low end one, but one, yeah, whatever. Who cares? He's okay. And you're going all out Philly or Charger stack against Philly. Keenan Allen will have a good game. Could we see the changing of the guard or the rechanging of the guard? Keenan Allen this was his best game of the year, and he finally called a touchdown. Is it finally happening, guys? Is it finally happening? Mike Williams has been MIA the last 2 weeks, and now he gets Darius Slay. Oh no, David. What about that matchup? Because you have the Chargers guys, and because I think that they're great plays, I might add, but I think it's too safe for my liking. I'm gonna go CeeDee Lamb side and Kadarius Toney, and I'm saying that with a straight face. If Toney is active without Sterling Shepard, I think this Raiders defense is, while it's improved, it's not shut down by any means. And CeeDee Lamb is the one guy who's going to avoid the tough coverage or Pat Surtain. I like CeeDee Lamb a lot. Lamb is is involved heavily in the slot, and he's involved heavily on the outside. So take your chances with that. Okay, David, we're just gonna skip through the running backs. I just want to give my thoughts on Cordero Patterson for a minute because you're gonna kill him in the running back department. Cordell Patterson, I think, is going to go back to more of a receiver hybrid. Like he's going to primarily be receiver and get sparingly catches out of the backfield because of the Calvin Ridley absence. You can't have Cordell Patterson in the backfield when your only receivers are Tajay freaking Sharp, Russell Gage, and Olamide Zaccheaus. It's just not going to happen. I think Mike Davis is a very good buy right now, guys. I know it sounds gross. Not against the Saints. Not against the Saints, but call me crazy. I think Mike Davis is a really good buy right now because of that. Patterson will still do what he does best. He's the ultimate cheat code in fantasy football. If you're ever having any doubts in Cordell Patterson, at this point, I would be inclined to buy, but he is literally your safest option, as weird as that sounds. Zach Ertz or Pat Fryermouth? Give me Fryermouth. Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Joe Mixon. Okay, DJ Moore has not been very good, and my favorite player in a do rag, PJ Walker. So ever since his first 4 weeks, 6, 8, 10, 7 is just not going to get the job done. Now you get New England. Here's my biggest worry with DJ Moore. If Christian McCaffrey is ruled out, this guy is not doing anything against New England. If Sam Darnold is not doing anything with him and he against regular defenses and the mastermind is planning behind there, it's the Belichick theory. Look what happened with Mike Williams. I love DJ Moore, but if Christian McCaffrey cannot go in this game, this guy is going to be a dud yet again. Harsh, you got some hope here, buddy. Joe Mixon against a Cleveland team that looks like they're about to go back to being the Browns that we all grew up with because the whole Odell situation. Baker, he's playing hurt because I think he's worried about his job security, and it's completely understandable, but he looks really, really bad. Anyway, Deebo Samuel or AJ Brown, I think they are going to destroy, both in favorable matchups. Deebo with a calf injury, though. David, one thing you are going to regret was that trade you made for Keenan Allen. Not because I think Brandon Cooks is great, but I think you played it a little too safe, in my personal opinion, and I figured out why Ayuk sucked. Okay? This is totally hindsight revision bias. When Ayuk came onto the scene last year, I don't know why anybody didn't pick up on it. The door opened because Deebo Samuel was hurt, and he was still being the number one guy because they were easing Deebo in. Why did we not pick up on Brandon Ayuk was really good because Deebo Samuel wasn't there last year or he was hurt? And I honestly think when Deebo came back 100% healthy and Ayuk was injured, Deebo Samuel and Ayuk are the same person. They play the same role. I do think that Ayuk is a 10 times better route runner than Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel is just so explosive that they utilize him in it. They make a guy who's like, it's like Tyreek Hill. Like Tyreek Hill is not a great receiver, but they know how to use him correctly. When I say not great receiver, I mean he's not like your definition of a prototypical receiver. Excuse me on that revision. Deebo Samuel is the same way. The offensive coordinators know how to scheme guys who are just amazing. If Deebo Samuel goes down, Brandon Ayuk is going to become what he was last year. In fact, I might hit up Patrick right now, to get me some Brandon Ayuk. But there is one guy who is still in the doghouse, and his name's Trey Sermon. So screw that. L.A. Chargers, yeah, or L.A. Rams. L.A. Rams. Tannehill's going to be dropping back a bunch. There's going to be a pick. There's going to be a lot of sacks. So yeah. Harsh, I think. Oh, you know what? No. Harsh. I think Harsh's receivers. I think this is going to be Harsh's highest scoring game in a while, but there are absolutely no running backs to use. Therein lies a problem. By the way, unless you guys just don't care, like I know Michael Carter is the truth. I don't know why nobody. How did I get Ty Johnson for $0? Anyway, the receivers alone are scarier, I think, on the Harsh side than the David side. I firmly believe that. But I think that the floor, David wins out on that. Okay. Kamara and oh, by the way, I think Cordell Patterson, I didn't say this. I think he has a ridiculous game against the Saints. The reason why I'm saying that is they can't. Mike Davis is going to get 20 carries that go for like 16 yards, and he's going to get a few catches. I think Arthur Smith finds a way to get Cordell Patterson Cordell Patterson will not. That 30-point performance was absolutely amazing. I think he breaks 20 points this week. That's my bold take there. DJ Moore is going to be the dud of the week. I think he is the lowest scoring player out of anybody in this game, with the exception of the harsh running backs, because Gainwell might get you 1 point. AJ Brown is after this week. AJ Brown is going to be ranked inside the top 3 for receivers. I think. You think I'm kidding? I think it's going to be Cooper Kupp on a weekly basis. Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams will flip flop based on matchup, and I think AJ Brown is going to be number 3. This guy, honestly, if you're trying to make the playoffs and Harsh is desperate enough, buy AJ Brown like immediately. Harsh, I think, will put up 133 without any running backs. I'm very high on these receivers this week, Harsh. But it's not going to be enough. I think that the floors and the defense alone, I think that Sunday night defense is going to seal the victory for David Sutton. It's going to be 133 Harsh to 139 David Sutton. It's going to be a really, really good game. This actually is going to be a great game. I can't wait. The time has finally come. You couldn't ask for a better script. Uh, Second half of the season kicks off with a bang. Rivalry week. First place is on the line, and these two teams are 7-1. I do not want to go into any celebration between both of us. I want to give a little bit of an overview about how both teams have kind of gotten here. And I will say, when you look at the point totals, we're kind of middling of the pack. So I don't want to say it's concerning, but it's when I look at a 7-1 team, these teams both, honestly, and this is not a knock on my team, this is not a knock on your team. I think they profile more of like 5-3, 6-2 team at this point of the season. That's just me personally. I don't know about you, but I know I got fortunate with getting B Magic on buys. So I think my team is more of a 6-2 team, and yours would be like a 7-1 maybe, or 6-2 as well. Um, you know what, man? I mean, this is a great matchup. 7-1 versus 7-1. I think two teams that are. I don't want to say that are are guaranteed in the playoffs because we've seen some weird crap happen, but I can't remember 7-1 versus 7-1 this late in the season. And the funny thing was, no, wait, no, you didn't. You lost to David Sutton. Never mind. The way I see these teams are kind of similarly constructed, or they were in the beginning of the season. And here's the difference, the way I look at it, right? Paul's team is always going to be a boomer bust team because he likes the explosion and then he kind of will figure out the rest later. I honestly think that my team is just made up of 5 players and they just happen to be like decent players, pretty much. I just think that Paul's team, I think when you look at the depth perception after right now, I think Paul has more people that he can start than I do. I mean, you're seeing it right now because I have a guy on bye. Um, but when I look at Paul's team, man, I think he is more boom bust. I just think that this team that I have personally is carried by like 4 people. Maybe you can maybe make the case for 5. But I gotta say, man, it's an honor just to kind of be in a division where these two teams have won a ring before. And I'm just noticing I gotta plug in my phone as I'm talking because I'm running out of battery. Uh, Yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to this a lot. I know I don't have a full lineup, but no excuses here. Uh, Want to give my little thought process. You did make a trade. I think you got rid of Gas. Beckham was dead weight, so good move on that. Gaskin and Chase Edmonds. I honestly feel like it's a wash for both of you guys. I don't think one breaks out than the other, and I'll get to that in a minute. Um, Gaskin, smart to move off of him because I do think that Salvon Ahmed, and I'm not just saying this because I have him, but I do think that it's more closer up to a split. Gaskin was great last year because he was the volume guy, but Salvon Ahmed's not a bad running back. Well, without further ado, best of luck to you. I will try to go in depth because I have like 4 lineup decisions I need to make, and I'll let you know personally. I'm not gonna hide anything. I'm not gonna be Kyle Shanahan, and I'll have like a random Elijah Mitchell out of nowhere. I'm not gonna do that. So here we go. First place is on the line, and not only is it first place for the division, it is first place to see who will move on to 8-1, which is just phenomenal when you think about it. Joseph Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. At this stage right now in the season, if you told me I'd be more concerned about Patrick Mahomes than Joe Burrow, I'd probably look at you and I'd say, what are you on? But that's where we are at right now. Paul, you watched that game because of the Giants. This Chiefs team is not good. Like, it's really, I don't know what's going on. They are out of sync everywhere, offensively, defensively. It just this does not look like a good football team. Little bit of a concern here. Mahomes is still projected very, very high as 28.27. But Joe Burrow, let's talk about this. Other than that weird Bears game that happened in week 2, Burrow has always gone over 20 points. What's even just amazing, he is the only quarterback this season to throw for multiple touchdowns. He is living up to that first round pick status, that first pick overall. It's great. It's great. I like it. Thing I even love a lot more is Burrow is at home. Statistically, going back from last year, Burrow is more efficient at home than he is on the road. The Browns, I'm going to throw this out here, ladies and gents. The Browns are going to bring a lot of heat on Joe Burrow. I'm actually really nervous for Joe Burrow in this matchup. I think he can get hit a lot. And knock on wood as I'm saying this, I hope for the best for him in this matchup. But this is not a gimme. This is not a gimme, man. The Browns like to control clock, and if they get Nick Chubb going, this is going to be a hard team to stop. Patrice Mahomes. Yep, that's the nickname I'm giving him because he's not playing like Pat Mahomes. Patrice has looked pretty bad. And if you told me Patrick Mahomes put up 7 and then he followed up by 16 points, and even the game against Washington, he didn't even look that good, man. He's just Brett Favre. Like, he's throwing pick. Not all of them are his fault, but man, he's just gunslinging it everywhere, dude. With that being said, no Aaron Rodgers means that he's going up against Jordan Love. You can look at this 2 ways. Patrick Mahomes just completely craps all over the Packers with Jordan Love. Or the flip side, well, this offense is so bad and they don't kill a lot of clock to begin with that guess what? What? I'll tell you what. They're not worried, man. Or, I'm sorry. That Green Bay just kills the clock. That's how they beat Kyler Murray last week, dude. They held the ball forever. Little bit of a concerning thing there. That is definitely in the realm of possibility. But with all of that being said, as bad as Patrick Mahomes has looked, I'm going to take the advantage because the Green Bay defense is in. I know Kansas City looks like total trash, but I think the Giants defense is a lot better than the Pack. No, I can't even say that because Paul's probably like, what is Nick watching? How dare I make that statement? Holy crap, we're at 7 minutes and we're only on quarterbacks. I'm going Pat Mahomes. Sorry. With Derrick Henry going down, the fantasy MVP from the first half of the season is Cooper Kupp. I did not see this outburst coming by a mile. Cooper Kupp was the highest ranked receiver I had on my board. And I honestly have to thank David Krier for that because he took Robert Woods super early. If Robert Woods does not get picked, I'm probably winding up with Robert Woods, and Johnny probably has Cooper Kupp, and I don't want that. I don't ew. I don't want to picture that vision in my head. Like, no. So dude, we are very blessed to have a guy like Cooper Kupp, and we hope for the best, and hopefully he continues greatness because that's what he's been. Tyreek Hill against Green Bay without Jair Alexander, this is going to be a problem. If I'm the Green Bay defensive coordinator, I'm double teaming, I'm triple teaming Tyreek Hill because Patrick Mahomes cannot go to anybody not named Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. In fact, they traded for one of our tight ends. I don't know what that says about Travis Kelce, or are they going to run more tight end sets? I got no idea. Jameson Crowder, I actually like this call a lot. Captain Checkdown, Mike White, is going to be checking it down to the slot receiver. He's going to be checking it down to the running backs. I foolishly dropped Jamison Crowder because I saw Russell Gage was going to be the starter. Stupid idiot, Nick. You did that. Yeah, and now Jamison Crowder's in a revenge game against me, I guess. I don't know. This is an even matchup because I like Cooper. Cooper Kupp is in probably the best matchup out of any receiver, and he happens to be the best receiver. But Paul, we've seen this story time and time again. I am not reverse jinxing this. How many times have we seen smash matchup, easy, 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 and the guy just is like, whoa, okay, what happened? This was supposed to be a smash. Tyreek Hill in a favorable matchup. Jalen Waddle against Houston or Jamison Crowder against Indianapolis. I think they profile evenly. Paul, believe it or not, I'm actually taking a draw. I know you're looking at Cooper Kupp and you're like, what is he talking about? No. I'm not lying to you. It's going to be a draw. Because I think Waddle's going to be good, but I think Parker is going to operate more on the outside now when he's healthy. So this is where things get weird. I'm just going to go through. The only guy that you see on my lineup for the rest of this, Paul, that's set is Aaron Jones for obvious reasons, and Ty Johnson. Because Mike Davis is against the Saints, I don't want any part of Mike Davis this week. Here's my thought process. I'll let you know. If Chuba Hubbard starts, he's in. Bottom line, Paul. If you heard of Chris Berman, if the Chuba missile crisis is in full effect, he's going to start. But if there's going to be a delay on the Chuba missile crisis because of Christian McCaffrey, he's obviously getting taken out. And if you want to plan around this, it's between 3 people then left. Ty Johnson and Aaron Jones are locked in. I'm not taking them out. Chuba, Hubbard, and if Chuba can't go, it's between Derek Gore, Salvon Ahmed, and Brian Edwards. Those are the only guys that I'm putting in. Reason why I picked Brian Edwards up before the Ruggs news, so I already had some speculative ad. I really like Brian Edwards now. He's a guy I might bring in. And Salvon Ahmed, look, if Davis Mills plays, I might have Salvon Ahmed in because I think that Miami should control the game. They should run all over them. Miami's desperate for a win, too. I think that they don't want Tua to throw such a ton in the second half. I think Salvon Ahmed could find, I don't know, garbage time, but he might get a touchdown. Who knows? Chuba. Yeah, I really hope he starts again, but I don't think that's going to happen. And honestly, he might even be that good against New England. Where are we left? Chuba, Ty Johnson, Aaron Jones, Derek. So here's what it is. Jonathan Taylor and Chase Edmonds, it doesn't matter who I put over there, Chuba or whoever, you're winning the running back matchup there. Taylor should have a field day against the Jets. I mean, I have to watch that game, and I'm going to hate when Jonathan Taylor just runs all over them. You traded for Chase Edmonds. I actually think that this is gross saying this because I like Chase Edmonds as a talent, but I honestly think that James Conner's value goes up. Thing you got to watch out for Chase Edmonds too, Paul. That shoulder, it looked like he was going to be out for the year last week, and then he's like came back in and looked very, very effective. So he's probably on some painkillers or something. You'll win the running back, the running back department. Tyler Higbee and Mike Gesicki. I play Tyler Higbee every day because he plays for the Rams. I am not expecting an outburst performance from Tyler Higbee. It's literally a tight end. It's 30 yards and a touchdown, or I'm not getting anything. So, that being said, I don't think Gesicki was that effective. Was he last week? He was okay. 8 points? Yeah, he was all right. I'll go Mike Gesicki. Darnell Mooney. Congratulations on getting our. Remember we had the discussion of Ruggs or Mooney. Looks like you kept the right guy. Chase Claypool against the Bears. Maybe. I'm not big on anybody not named Najee or Deontay Johnson. I have a hard time trusting Big Ben with Steelers. Chase Claypool and Darnell Mooney. Aaron Jones is going to be a lock, so I think I win that matchup there. Derek Gore is interesting. He's in play. I got to tell you why he's in play. If Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out and we're going up against Jordan Love, and we've never seen Jordan Love play, and Kansas City could get right back on track at home, Derek Gore might take away this job. I know this is wishful thinking, obviously, but Darrell Williams is a good, pass catching back. I don't think he's a great like runner per se. New Orleans and Miami D, Paul, both they're gonna get combined 40 points. Paul, I'm gonna break it down to you. I wish I could give you more of an in-depth analysis. I have no idea who I'm going with. But Paul, if you're asking me, Nick, what am I looking at specifically? I'll give you that. Ty Johnson will play Thursday night. Aaron Jones will play. It then comes down between Salvon Ahmed, Brian Edwards, and who's this other guy? Derek Gore. I don't like starting two backup running backs and I'm coin flipping for touchdowns. So, with that being said, if Clyde Edwards-Helaire cannot go at all in that game, I think Derek Gore gets the. I don't even like saying that though. No, you know what? James Conner got 2 touchdowns. Derek Gore will get 3 touchdowns. You heard it here first. I'm going to go Derek Gore and Brian Edwards probably. As much as I think Salvon Ahmed is going to be, another garbage time touchdown guy against Houston, if Davis Mills is in, though, I might just retract that. And I might just play it safe. And I might go Salvon Ahmed and Brian Edwards because somebody's got to catch passes. It's going to be Waller's going to be involved. Renfro's going to be involved. But there's got to be somebody else that's got to catch some passes. So there you have it, ladies and gents. So with that being said, we've got ourselves that big one. It's gonna be a fun matchup, my man. Your key to victory's got to be that stack. The Chiefs stack in a game against the Packers. The Packers might just not know what to do, and I think the Chiefs, for as bad as they looked, they could become the Kansas City Chiefs that we all grew up to love, man. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Jones, I think, will be good, but I do think that A.J. Dillon's going to have a very big game as well. We're going to see because the way I look at these matchups, Paul, everything here is a coin flip. And I think other than Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Cooper Kupp, and Tyreek Hill, flip a coin, dude. Like, really? I mean, this is hilarious just even talking about this. Well, ladies, gentlemen, Paul, I wish you the best of luck. I will be tuning into my Jets with Mike White. Hopefully that Ty Johnson, Michael Carter get some dump offs like they have been doing. And I wish you the best of luck, my friend.